Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Sharks outclassed by Toulouse in the end in the Champions Cup fixture in France. And at the end of the day, it's always very difficult for any team to go to France. South Africa have never really faced that prospect in terms of club rugby going into France and feeling what it's like to play in those stadiums. But they're getting the feel for it now, and they can just see why all those fans in Europe and in the UK and all over have been complaining about it. Saying how difficult it is to go to France and win. And indeed, Sharks just proving it further. They could not do it today. They actually played very well for 60 minutes. They did. They were there and thereabouts for a lot of that game. They were quite good. I was very impressed for a lot of it. They rocked up to the game. They had some great energy. They were there and thereabouts for a lot of it. And then just, unfortunately, there was a try in the 69th minute that just took it a little bit too far from the Sharks. And they pretty much just lost it there. And it was then just all hell broke loose in the 70s. Those last 10 minutes, all hell broke loose. When I say it, Ramos just did everything today. And yeah, they scored a try in the 69th, then 73rd, in the 76th, and in the 79th. I mean, yeah, just ridiculous in the end, those last 10 minutes. They just completely fell apart. They just knew the game had got away from them. And they basically just fell asleep. They just didn't feel like playing rugby after that, which is sad. Because for 65 minutes of that game, they were there. They were there for a lot of it. And 67 minutes, they put the penalty goal over, making it within 7 points. So, 13 minutes to play within 7. That's a very competitive game. And unfortunately, just right after that, Mauvaka went over and scored a try in the 69th. And as I say, all hell broke loose. Very, very upsetting. So let's go through the game, shall we? So right in the beginning, first half, Sharks started quite well. And there was a high challenge on Makazole Mapimpi, head-on-head contact by Malia of the Toulouse side on Makazole Mapimpi, and was given a yellow card for that. Some people still trying to argue whether or not it should be a red. Late movement by Mapimpi sort of mitigates that. So I think the correct decision's made with the yellow card there. And as a result, Sharks got the first points of the game. Kieran Bosch slotted a penalty goal from that penalty. Sharks couldn't convert any points, though, with that yellow card advantage. And once they got Malia back onto the field, Thomas Ramon then put a penalty goal over in the 23rd minute, making it 3 points apiece. And very much deserved both sides. It was just a tight game at this point. Then Williams went over and scored a brilliant try. Kerwin Bosch starting the hot thing from the back and running through, finds a gap and passes to Williams, who's a great supporting run, and managed to score a try for the Sharks. Now you're thinking Sharks are here to play. And Bosch also converted that. So at that point now, 10 points to 3 in favour of the Sharks. However, 4 minutes later, Ramon gets a penalty goal over. And then 4 minutes later again, Malia goes over for the first try for Toulouse. And say the last 8 minutes of this first half, Sharks just sort of lost it a little bit. And it was really depressing because they played the better team in the first half an hour of the game. But the last 10 minutes of that first half, they just lost it a little bit. Ramon went also converted that Malia try. And we went into halftime 14 points to 10. And then the second half started. And again, the first 10 minutes now, Sharks were really nowhere in the first 10 minutes. And lucky only to have conceded one try. Ramon went over for that try in the 48th minute, which he also converted. But almost immediately, 5 minutes later, Butcher Chamberlain, great run from him and great pass from Lucanio to find him in that gap. And he went over for another try for the Sharks in the 53rd minute, which again Bosch converted. So now you're thinking, well, it's still thereabouts. We're still very close score. And Malia then went over in the 57th minute just to take it a little bit away from the Sharks again. Sharks did score a try, and in between that, and I have to go over that because it's just ridiculous. They scored a try, and it was it was literally lining up the kick, Herman Bosch. And as he was literally taking the kick, the ref blows his whistle because the French directors, as known, the French directors kept showing a replay of Williams' pass from the ruck 2 phases before that try was scored. And it was actually a forward pass. And they kept showing it. And right as they're about to take the kick, the ref blows his whistle and says, hang on, we're going to have a look at this. And they disallow the try. At that point, Sharks would have been in the lead. And that just sort of tells you the sort of difference that would have made. So if Bosch was just 5 seconds quicker, they wouldn't have been able to look at it. So, yeah, I mean, it's scary. Scary stuff. Nonetheless, after that 57th minute try from Malia, Bosch then converted a penalty in the 67th minute. It was just tussling for 10 minutes. And again, he brought it within 7 points, crucially, which meant that Sharks just needed one try to go ahead in the game. And then the 2 minutes after that, Mauvaka went over the try. And at that point, I think Sharks just saw the fact that the game had now slipped and it got away from them. And as I say, it just was all hell from there. Ramon converted that in the 71st. In the 73rd minute, so Ramon went over for a try himself, which he then converted in the 74th minute. Then Retrier went over in the 76th minute to score a try, which Ramon again converted in the 79th minute. And Tamac goes over for a try. And after the 80 minutes, Ramon converts that again. Definitely man of the match, Ramon. As you can see, I keep saying his name the whole time. Ridiculous today. Absolutely ridiculous. Great kicking boots. Great play. Good tries from him as well. But yeah, Sharks just disappointment in that last 10 minutes to have just been useless in terms of not bothering to play for the last 10 minutes. It really was quite disappointing because they played so well up to that point. But yeah, disappointing for them. That's the premature end. Well, not premature, but that's the end of their cup run, their first cup run in the Champions Cup. And thank you so much for watching Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. I've been Mark, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.